Hi again, Jeff Koppel, Realtor and General Contractor. Today I thought I'd talk about an inspection report. Oftentimes when you buy a home, the buyer will request an inspection report just to determine the condition of the property. And some of the things I want to talk about today is with older homes, some of the stuff that you'll see. I thought I'd start off this by explaining the inspection process. Basically, the inspector is going to inspect that house according to the current build code. In other words, the current international building code. That's what he's going to use to analyze the property and determine what items are deficient or not in agreement with the current code. Now, a lot of times stuff in an older home can get called out because it doesn't agree with the current code. Does that necessarily mean that it's an unsafe house or it's going to be problems? I thought the best thing to do would be to take a look at a house that is older and look at a few items that come up on the report and just kind of explain what they are and kind of describe, okay, is this a serious issue or is it not? So the first thing I thought I would start with is this particular home had a window that was installed in the walkout door to the garage. In other words, the pedestrian door between the home and the garage itself, attached garage. So back when this house was built in 1975, this was kind of a custom feature that a lot of builders offered, and it was a way to kind of keep an eye on stuff out in the garage. Say one of the parents is working inside, the kids are playing out in the garage. It's kind of a way to keep an eye on what's going on out there. The current build code says that a door going out to the garage has to have a fire rating. Basically, it's got to survive a fire for an hour before it burns through. So, of course, a door with glass in it probably wouldn't survive that hour burn. Now, this is an as-built condition. So when you're going for financing, say with FHA, VA, this probably is going to get called out. Now, whether or not FHA and VA will require the seller to correct it, that's to be determined. It depends on, what their requirements are, their exact requirements. And from memory, I can't remember if this is one item that they require being changed on an older home. So if we go down through this report, got another couple of things here that are also as-built conditions. Here, we have basically a triple window in this home, and it's saying that the windows are too narrow for egress. In other words, a window has to be a certain size to allow humans to get out in the event of a fire or any other kind of emergency. Now, back when this house was built, this window size would have been fine. There wasn't that particular regulation. Um, and here's another one that says the window fails to stay open to allow emergency egress. Again, it's an older window. There was no regulation years ago when this was built, but this is something that is in the current building code. And again, it talks about another small window here. Again, it was an as-built deal. Now here on each side of an exit door, this is a door to the backyard of this house. Current building code says any windows that are in close proximity to an exit entry or exit door, the glass in them needs to be tempered glass. In other words, if the glass breaks, it breaks into tiny pieces instead of like sharp shards of glass. Again, this was a code that wasn't in place back in 1975, but it is now. And then we got a couple other things on this particular. They're under electrical systems. They're saying that they were unable to verify the location of the ground system. Back when this house was built in 1975, the method of grounding the electrical panel in a home was to attach the ground wire to the cold water pipe coming in. The pipe was made out of copper. It's buried in dirt, so it made a really good ground, basically. The current code is you have to have exterior ground rod, 8 feet long, copper clad, that's driven into the ground. But again, this is an as-built condition. Now, one item that is marked in red here, the Federal Pacific panel. One problem with Federal Pacific panels, Zenco, there's a couple other brands, is the materials that they used in the breakers were basically incompatible metals. So over time, the electrical current flowing through these breakers in combination with the incompatible metals will cause them to corrode, and they won't trip when they get overloaded. That's the fire hazard. So that's what they're talking about there. And here, they mentioned that there's no smoke detectors in any of the bedrooms. Again, when this house is built, they didn't require any smoke detectors. And then the GFCI, plugs, the ones that trip if they're exposed to, water. Generally, they call these out in kitchens, bathrooms, anywhere you've got water in close proximity to electrical. And basically, they called out every wet location in the house: garage, exterior, kitchen, food disposal, dishwasher, microwave, and different areas of the house. So, okay, of these items, what items do you really need to be concerned about? What I would say is you want to be most concerned about items that address safety issues. So, I mean, technically, all of these, the buyer could request that the seller replace all of them. The argument you might get back from the seller is these are as-built conditions. And you, as the buyer, really just need to consider, okay, how important are these things to me? How important is it that I get all these items corrected? Now, in a situation like this where, the windows are undersized, that would be a major renovation for the seller to do this. And you just kind of have to assess, okay, are there other exits out of this particular room? And I'm thinking in a fire situation, I could throw something through this window and get myself out if I had to. But again, it's kind of a personal call. Now, on some of these items, they are going to be required by the type of financing. So FHA or VA financing, they're going to require that. So anyway, I hope this kind of sheds some light on the fact that you're going to see some stuff, probably more things on an older home because it's, an older house that's not up to current code. They don't necessarily mean the house is unsafe. It just means that there may be more things that show up on the inspection report. And if you have any questions about an inspection report, I would be more than happy to answer those questions for you. Just drop me an email at jeffcobble@gmail.com. Down there in the corner, you can see my email, and I'll be happy to respond to those via video. That would be a great, content for a future video. So absolutely send me those questions, and I'll be happy to answer them for you. Have a great day, and thanks for watching.